He wants black people to have green in their pocket. He wants black men to be back in their homes. He doesn't want a black America that depends on the government and subsidies for everything. He wants people to actually work. You go into one of his hotels or one of his businesses, it's full of black people working, from the managers on down. And you ask them, because I have and I do, you ask them how they feel about Donald Trump, and you hear stories of him paying for weddings and helping to bury people who have passed away. You hear about the genuine man of who he is. We got 18.6 million fatherless kids in America, the most fatherless nation in the world. That's why you see these young black kids in the streets shooting and killing each other. They don't got daddies in the house, man. Donald Trump understands that. He wants to get these black men. A lot of these black men have their dads in prison. That's not doing them America any good. Making America great again is getting dads, specifically black dads, back in the house.
Let me ask you a question, and it doesn't really matter if you're white, black, or Hispanic. How is bringing fathers back into the home a bad thing? Why is it that no one, and I mean no one, on the left side of the aisle advocates for strengthening the familial unit? A strong family unit benefits white people. A strong family unit benefits Hispanic people. And of course, a strong family unit benefits black people. And best of all, strong family units benefit America. If you believe that as I do, why is it that there's no platform whatsoever on the left that advocates for strengthening the family units in America? I'll give you my answer. Because it benefits this type of government from keeping their subjects broken and in dire need of the government to take care of them. That's why they're afraid of messages like this getting out. And they're especially afraid of messages like this getting out in the black community. That man talking was Jack Brewer. Jack Brewer is a former NFL player. He played for the Vikings, the Eagles, the Giants, and I believe the Cardinals as well. But in my opinion, he's done his best work off the field. His foundation is trying to help young black men stay off the streets and in turn stay out of jail. And of course, he's trying to help prisoners improve their lives as well. And most recently, he's been chartering planes, helping Americans escape what's going on in Haiti. And what's really interesting is his journey in politics. Unbelievably, in 2007, he formed NFL Players for Obama. But after helping Obama get elected, he got really disappointed because he realized it was the same old shit. Hoping change turned into hope for change. In 2020, Brewer served as the chairman for a committee that helped Trump make inroads in the black community. In 2020, he also gave a huge speech at the Republican National Convention. And then after the election, Trump obviously knew what Jack Brewer was capable of doing and asked him to serve on another committee to help black youth. And in doing so, Brewer was instrumental in getting pardons for Kodak Black and Lil Wayne. And now, once again, he's spreading the message of Donald Trump to black America. Why? Simple. Because he wants to see black Americans prosper on their own, not being wards of the state or loyal subjects of the government. Check out this interview he recently did with Betty Johnson. We're going to react to it.
And Donald Trump tells me the story over and over again about having all of the black presidents from HBCUs come into his office. And after the third year, he said, guys, why do you come in here every year and have to beg for money? You guys are prestigious university presidents. You should not have to beg for money. So you know what he did? He gave them long-term funding so that they didn't have to come back each and every year. So that $7 billion that Joe Biden is bragging about is just the extension of the Trump funds that he already allocated to HBCU.
You didn't know that, did you? Not many people know that. Nobody wants to give Donald Trump credit for anything, especially helping black students and black colleges.
You see, no one will tell you that because they don't know, and the left doesn't want you to hear it.
It's amazing how much the left tries to keep from black Americans. They just want to keep them dumbed down. The more they know, the worse it gets for Democrats. And I'm just so happy there's guys like Jack Brewer out there spreading the message. And I'm hoping to do the same.
That's the reason why I serve for President Donald J. Trump, because he actually passes policies that can uplift black people. He wants black people to have green in their pocket.
And there you go. Instead of having an EBT card in your pocket, instead of having to wait each month for the government cheese, wouldn't it be amazing if black people could actually, carry their own? Now, of course, there's a lot of black families out there and a lot of black businessmen who actually do that. Imagine that. Having black people earn their own money, being prosperous on their own without the need of the government propping them up, without the need of government cheese. That is what America is all about. That is the American dream. The Democrats don't want that for the black community. I don't know why. I think it just keeps them in power because they can keep promising things like they've done for 60 and 70 years. But as Donald Trump has said many times, what do you have to lose except for lives, generations and generations of people, black people in these inner cities who have had to deal with the same crap for decades? It's time to change, real change.
He wants black men to be back in their homes. He doesn't want a black America that depends on the government and subsidies for everything. He wants
and getting back in a home. You know what that means, right? Because if the dad is back in the home, there would be less of that other thing that they've been fighting for. There'd be less need to have that thing happen. I can't say the word. I'm trying to do some sort of pantomime so you guys understand. That thing where people give birth, there would be more actual babies, families, not less.
People to actually work. You go into one of his hotels or one of his businesses, it's full of black people working.
Do it. I encourage you to go into any one of the Trump facilities and see how many ethnicities are actually working at his properties. I'm down here in my, South Florida. So here in South Florida, there's a number of different places you can go. And yes, they are populated with black employees. And nobody wants you to know that.
From the managers on down, and you ask them, because I have and I do, you ask them how they feel about Donald Trump, and you hear stories of him paying for weddings and helping to bury people who have passed away.
Now, you may not remember this. I'm going to ask you to Google something on your own. I'm just going with this because it's at the top of my mind after hearing him say that. Google what happened and what Donald Trump did for Jennifer Hudson. I believe her family or a couple of people in her family got murdered and they had to move out of the house. And Donald Trump, no strings attached, just said, hey, we're going to put you in our hotels. People don't like to talk about that anymore. It's like 2016. All that stuff got erased for some reason. It's absurd. There has never been any contention. There's been no belief that Donald Trump was racist until he started challenging the real racist. It's amazing.
And of who he is. We got 18.6 million fatherless kids in America. The most
18.6 million fatherless kids. That's a legion of young men who have no parental advisement or encouragement.
Fatherless nation in the world. That's why you see these young black kids in the streets shooting and killing each other. They don't got daddies in the house, man. Donald Trump understands that. He wants to get these black men. A lot of these black men had their dads in prison.
That is absolutely true. And as he's talking here, and as you're hearing Jack Brewer, and I know, many of you are white, many of you may be Hispanic. Did you know this? Have you heard any kind of messaging coming from the left whatsoever where they talk about, hey, listen, maybe we need to stop this fatherless army being built? Even when you look at what's going on down at the border, it just seems to be more of the same. They just breed dependence upon the government.
That's not doing them America any good. Making America great again is getting dads, specifically black dads, back in the house. That's how we make America great again. And Donald Trump.
Now understand this. You probably just paid your taxes or you're about to pay your taxes. And there are people out here who are having to work 4, maybe 5 months of the year to pay a tax bill that gets wasted up in Washington. You're working half a year almost, paying taxes out to wazoo to pay for a government that's bloated and is purposely bloated. Understand, imagine if there weren't 18 million fatherless kids out there. Think about all those women who are maybe possibly more than likely on EBT, needing the government to pay for these 18 million kids. 18 million. How much money has to go to feed, house, clothe, educate 18 million kids? Never mind social programs for medicine and after school activities and breakfast and paid lunches, because there's no dad home to pay for that. And they encourage this. They perpetuate it. Just think about that for a second. I'm not sure if you have. How much money would it save the United States of America and you as a taxpayer if the fathers were home with these 18 million kids? You don't have to be a mathematician to realize that is a serious problem. In addition to the havoc that the portion of the kids who are running around in gangs are causing. The problems that they're having, running in the store, stealing shit. I'm telling you right now, I'm a big guy. I was a big young man as well. And I knew if I did the shit that these people are doing now, I would come home and get a lump upside my head. And that's from my mom. My dad, that would be a whole different story. And I'm sure many of you can relate. This has just gotten out of hand, and the government just completely looks the other way. The Democrats don't care that businesses have to basically put everything behind glass and lock things up. They don't care. They don't care if you move out of the city. They don't care. You got insurance. So what? Pay for it. You never, ever, ever, ever hear the Democrats talk about making the family unit strong again. In addition to making America strong again, making the family unit strong again. It's simply amazing to me because it's something so simple. It's something that you could basically count on easily to make America prosperous, great again. But they don't want to do that. In fact, they encourage just the opposite. That's the evil that you see every single day that you may not realize when you're watching television, you're seeing knuckleheads doing all kinds of crazy shit, and you say to yourself, where's their parents? Well, Joe Biden's their parents. Joe Biden's their parents. They don't have any man at home telling them what to do. No man. Just imagine that. They go home, their mom can't control these guys. They're thugs. They're running around going crazy, and there's nobody there to support them, guide them, counsel them, whoop their ass. No, there's nobody there. And then, of course, because they don't have anybody doing that, they're not going to school, and the whole thing just becomes a perpetual prison for young black men. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox now. Let's get back to you, Jack.
And I came back and I said, President Trump, we got to do something with Baltimore. I said, it is ridiculous to see an American city that's been a great American city look like a third world country. The next day, he comes out and makes that statement about Baltimore and says we need to clean this city up, about the rats and the roaches. And the reason...
Have you ever been to Baltimore? Now, I understand many of you may have seen the show The Wire. If not, I recommend looking at that show. I remember watching that show because I lived in Baltimore, and I'm like, I know exactly where that is. That wasn't a set. That was actually how Baltimore looked. Oops, excuse me, I spoke wrong. That is actually how Baltimore looks. There are still parts of Baltimore where even some black people don't want to go. It is absolutely war zone, just filth, rats. It's amazing that that city still exists in America in 2024, and it's been run by Democrats forever. I can't even tell you the last time a Republican has run Baltimore. I used to go down and when I was in my bouncing days and I worked the Preakness over at Pimlico, and it looks so great on television, but you don't know that you need an armored escort to get to where Pimlico Racetrack is. It's right in the middle of the hood. And it looks so great on TV every May. I guess we're going to see it in a couple weeks. But it's right in the hood, and people come in and need escorts to get where they're going. You're told, don't go here, don't go there. Just go straight to this racetrack. Don't deviate off course. Don't go into some of these neighborhoods. You won't come back. But you don't hear about that. Nobody talks about it. But one day, drive through Baltimore. Just Google Baltimore. Go watch the show The Wire. Because at that point, that show is probably 15, 20 years old. and it still looks the same in many parts of Baltimore. It's just abhorrent what they make people in that city live with.
He did that because I told him about it. He cared. He wanted to do something now. So he starts calling out these liberal politicians that have been leading this city for 60, 70 years. It's been under Democratic leadership, and these places look like we're going to a third world country. And so people get...
It looks worse than some third world countries.
Mad, but that's why he's resonating with black people, because black people want to know the truth. We're tired of being poor. Black people are tired of not having enough money to take care of their families and not being able to go after the American dream, because we have liberal politicians in these cities just weighing it down and robbing them of everything, man. For us to
like I said, why is the American dream something that people shouldn't be asked to, the ring that you don't want to have happen? Why do liberals, why do Democrats, why does the left not want a strong African-American black community? I don't even like using African-American because I hate that hyphenated crap. We're just going to say black Americans. How about that? How about just saying Americans? Why would you want any American to live in complete hog slop? Why would you want any American, whether it be Baltimore or Detroit or Chicago? Why do these cities like that? I mean, seriously, they get tons of money. Why are they still just hellholes? Or as Donald likes to call them, shitholes. Why are they still like that? There's only one reason. It's intentional. Wake up, people. It's only because of one reason. It is 100% intentional. You couldn't do this by accident. You couldn't do any of what they're doing by accident. It's not incompetence. Incompetence can be changed. You've had decades of the same shit. That's not incompetence. That's not mistakes. That's intentional. And that's where people have to wake up. People have to understand what the Democrats are doing is not by accident. It's not because Poo-Poo Diaper Joe is incompetent. It's because it's intentional. This is part of their plan. This is what you have to understand. Nothing changes because that's what they want. If Poo-Poo Diaper Joe gets reelected in November, God help us. God help us. Every place is going to be a hellhole. I mean, no doubt. They're going to try and do all kinds of things. And now, I think you just heard what they did with Title IX. It's a nightmare. I cannot believe women would vote for this guy. I just can't fathom how any woman, after what he did yesterday, would vote for this guy. I've got a video coming up on that in case you're not aware of it. That's a whole nother video. Maybe I shouldn't have brought it up. But what he did with Title IX should make every woman in America, an actual woman, get pissed off.
Watching what's happening at the hands of liberals is just really eye-opening, and that's why you see it take so long for a lot of people to wake up to this. Is because we've gone through so much for so long, and we were trained and taught as kids that Republicans were the reason for all of our issues, and black folks are starting to realize that that's just been this big lie, right?
It's taken this long for this indoctrination to begin to lose its hold. Only because of Donald Trump. Only because he's the one who said, what do you got to lose? Only because people like Jack, people like myself, others have stood up and went, hey, you realize there's a different way, right? You understand you don't have to be like this. It's not some lifelong sentence. They're doing this to you on purpose. Prosperity awaits you. I'm not saying you're going to have a mansion on the hill, but I'm definitely telling you, you don't have to eat the government cheese and worry about an EBT card.
And I think Donald Trump is the one that has exposed this, and you see people coming out in droves to support him. I mean, listen, man, I was ridiculed for coming out in support of Donald Trump. I mean, literally, my family, they were threats and attacks and people coming after me. And now all of a sudden it's like everywhere I look, like all my friends now are voting for Trump and all of my boys are voting for Trump. And
that's so true. You're getting these texts and your phone calls and people are like, hey, tell me about this guy. I mean, is this for real? I know you were, talking about it a few years ago, but I'm seeing that you and your wife are happy and you're not dealing with the crap that we're dealing with. Can you show me a little bit what's this guy all about? And all I have to say is he's about what they're not. If you're happy with your life right now and you're happy with the way your life has been, let's say in Baltimore for the last 10, 15, 20 years, then you don't have anything to worry about. But if you always or lately have been saying, man, it's getting tough out there. I wish I could. I wish I could. Imagine, just think to yourself, I wish I could have this better. Well, if you've been wishing that for any length of time, then perhaps you may want to be looking at Donald Trump, because that's what I tell people. If you're longing, if you think you could do better, that there's more opportunity out there, if you were given the chance, opportunity, not give you anything except for, when I say give you opportunity, clear the way, get the hell out of my way and let me seize the opportunities in front of me. That's all you have to ask for. That's all you need is the doorway to opportunities that the Democrats have kept shut.
Let you see all of these guys inside the prison. All of them are Trump supporters. And it's unbelievable when you start to see the most voiceless, man. It tells you a lot when the most voiceless are supporting a president, especially like Donald Trump, that's a Republican. You've never seen this before. And the reason why is because people are seeing the results of these liberal leftist policies.
Finally, they're looking at the results and saying, none of this works. It just doesn't work. Doesn't make any sense. I'm over it. Finally. And I think a good deal of this has to do with social media, because you wouldn't hear Jack Brewer talking. You wouldn't hear me talking. You wouldn't hear Stephen A. Smith talking about anything unless he was on ESPN. But now you've got black people, black men going, hey, you might want to look at this. It's a little bit different than what you're used to. It's going to make your life a lot better. Trust me, I can prove it to you. I'm living proof of it, and it makes people take notice.
Before, you didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how welfare, right, could lead to fatherlessness, right? I didn't understand how.
Exactly. Understand that. What he just said, I know this video is getting a little bit long. Welfare leads to fatherlessness. Why? Because, hey, listen, I know Leroy knocked you up and you're going to have this baby and you're wondering how you're going to take care of it. Well, we're going to give you an EBT card. We're going to give you medical. We're going to give you a bus pass. We're going to give you a free cell phone. Hey, we're going to give you free cable. What do I need Leroy for? Exactly. You don't need a daddy. I'm your daddy. I'm government daddy. There's no need for the man. Just do whatever you want. We're going to pay for it all. Oh, and if you have more kids, you get more money. You get the EBT card. You get free medical. And if you have a third kid with another guy, you get even more. Now you're going to get a bigger house because under Section 8, you now qualify for a 3-bedroom house. And you're just going to give it to me? Yep. Just keep coming and eating at the government trough. We're going to take care of you. Everything is fine. You don't need a man. Welfare killed the black community. It absolutely decimated the entire thought process of so many black women. It was supposed to be a help and assistance and aid, and it's become a lifestyle. And that's the problem with this entire thing. You
know, letting the border be flooded could lead to black unemployment, and could lead for less opportunities for blacks, and could lead to criminal justice inequalities and inequities. I didn't put those things together before. And now, because of Donald Trump, we're able to talk about it, right? Social media and shows like this, they can't hide from it because no one can tell me I don't know.
And that's why they want to shut us up. That exactly is the answer. Now that you understand that, that's why they suppress videos. That's why they're trying to crank up this censorship. They need to shut people up. Hey, man, you're messing up the gig here. You're letting too many people know that there's something else. We got to shut you up. We got to call it some kind of different word. We're going to call it misinformation or something. And we got to shut you down because you're not telling the truth, or truth that we want you to tell.
What I'm doing, or what I'm talking about, I'm in the prisons every week. I'm in the streets every week. I got kids that live in 2-bedroom apartments, and it's 15 of them in there that I got to feed every.
Guess who's paying for that?
Week. No one can tell me about any of these issues because my organization is touching it. And so this is why they are going to have to deal with this movement. And it's going to become a day in this November. They are literally going to have to put their money where their mouth is, because the American people are going to speak. Because I'm telling you right now, I'm going on a rampage this electorate. I will talk and speak anywhere to help stop this madness. I believe this is God ordained time for people to speak truth. And
he touched the third rail there as well. God ordained. He understands it's a blessing to talk about this. It's a blessing to let other people know that you've been blessed, and they don't want people to hear that as well.
We have to stop letting them separate us with skin color, man. We are brothers, and this country was built on us being brothers and sisters and uniting. It's the United States of America. It was a dream, and this dream will be fulfilled, man. And I think this is the most important election in this nation's history. And I hope the black man feels and runs to the polls to stand up for our people and for our kids and for our future generation.
And not just for, quote, our people. At this point, this election is turning into the most important election for all Americans. Not black, not white, not Hispanic, for all Americans. Too many things are going wrong. I don't even need to go through the litany of things as of right now. You know what's wrong. Every day, I'm sure you wake up and go, that sucks. What did he do that for? Why is he continuing to act this way? And the fact that I'm having to be vague in my talking speaks volumes. I can't even tell you the different things that are going wrong because Big Brother may just say, silence, silence. We are not in the America that we all grew up in. I don't know what America this is, but I don't want it to continue. And hopefully you don't want it to continue. And by the way, I know this video is long, but tonight, at 6:30, I go live. Click here to be notified as soon as I flip the switch. We're going to do the Donald Trump rally watch party tonight from Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm not going to be in Wilmington. He is, but we're all going to sit around and watch it on YouTube. Talk to you soon.